Ladies and gentlemen, his early death at age 37 from a heart attack shocked everybody in the hockey community because he had done so much as a player and was such a groundbreaking skater on many, many levels. It's just sad that he's not around to hear the praise he's still getting years after he's passing. So today we're going to be talking about the legendary Juha Whiting. Now, Juha Marco Whitey, or the Flying Finn Whiting, I hope I'm pronouncing Juha right, I always had trouble with that, was a Swedish professional center. And he was a third Finnish-born player after Albert Pudas and Pinti Lund to play in the NHL. Now, Whitey played in NHL for 8 seasons, mostly with the LA Kings, where he just skated miles and miles and miles. Now, at 6'1" and 190, he was big for a Swedish center. Now, he was born in Finland to Finnish parents. Now, his father was a half Finnish, half Swedish. Then he moved the family to Sweden when he was 4. In '64, his family moved to Brandon, Manitoba, so he could play junior hockey for the Brandon Wheat Kings because he got to start with Gaias in the Swedish 2 League. Now, with Brandon, he put some very impressive numbers, especially in his third season, where, ladies and gentlemen, get this, he had 144 points in 43 games, including 70 goals and 74 assists. Now, a lot of people thought he was going to go straight to the NHL, but the Rangers, who owned these rights, decided to give him more seasoning. He played 2 seasons with the Omaha Knights of the CPHL, then the CHL. His best season with Omaha was 69, with 41 goals and 39 assists for 80 points. Now, it's an argument because there's other players that might have filled that void. He was kind of considered the first mostly European-trained player with a full-time contract in the NHL, despite the fact he had some minor hockey in Sweden before he came over to play junior. Now, for some reason, the Rangers gave up on him, and he was, after only 44 games, he was traded to the Kings, along with Raul Lemieux, for Teddy Irving, a very, very rough player. And we all know who Teddy Irving is. Check your wrestling background. Now, in LA, he developed into a legitimate scoring threat, garnering at least 55 points in 55 consecutive seasons. Now, Kings owner Jack N. Cook gave him the nickname Whitey and instructed his announcers to pronounce his last name as Whiting, as opposed to the real pronouncing Viding. He often played in a line with former Montreal Canadian Bob Berry and the very rugged Mike Corrigan. It was known as, get this, the hotline. I tend to agree, they were very hot to play with the Kings. Now, however, by 76, his productivity had dropped considerably, and he was traded to the Cleveland Barons after averaging about 24, 25 goals a season. Now, the big problem with Whitey in the 67, he only had 7 counters, but he did regain some of his scoring touch in Cleveland, scoring 6 goals in 29 games, including 14 points. Now, Whiting later moved to the Edmonton Oilers of the WHA, scoring 42 points in his final professional season. Now, after the season, he was traded to the Indianapolis Racers for, get this, Goldie Goldsworthy, but chose instead to retire. Now, he eventually settled in British Columbia, but again died following a heart attack on December 30th, 1984, age 37. Final NHL totals, 575 games, 144 goals, 226 assists for 370 points. And the 74 playoff run for LA, he had 1 goal. And that was, he only had 8 playoff games in total. Kind of a shame because the Kings had some good teams that didn't make the playoffs. Now, what really stood out for me, besides his recognition in the MJHL, because he was second All-Star team that year in 67, he played for Sweden, actually, at the Canada Cup in 76, and it drew a lot of interest because Börje Salming was on that team, and Stig Salming, a lot of, Inger Hamstrung, a lot of prospects. So for me, a very, very consistent, a very talented goal scorer, and he broke ground for a lot of European players, where a European player, unless it was a person that, escaped the Iron Curtain, they wouldn't really come over because, can I be totally honest with you there? The 72 and 75 Summit Series, there were some bad games between Sweden and Team Canada. We were considered a bunch of goons, and a lot of people, like the Chicken Swede comment, if you're making big money in Sweden, why would you come to the NHL to be demeaned for less money? So, we don't talk about Swedish racism much in Canada anymore, but it was very prevalent. Look at Don Cherry, Alpo Sumanen and people like that. So, anyway, Whitey, great player. I wish he was still around because I'd like to see him do commentary on a lot of the great Swedish players and teams of the last number of years, especially with their Olympic championship against Canada. Have a good day. Bye.